kindergarten through to 7th grade, increase education outcomes amongst the Stadtjugend that later translate into learning success in high school and beyond. Why focus on primary education, kindergarten to grade 7? The primary education focus area enrolls a large percentage of Stadtjugend community members in their program in formal learning. According to research, improvements in education are achieved in primary and also secondary education when there is an integration of a student's identity, language, and cultural program that is provided as an inclusive part of the curriculum of teaching and learning for students. Provide early intensive support for lifelong learners from kindergarten through to grade 7. The Stadtjugend Education and Training Program aims to improve and increase education outcomes, to prepare academic readiness, and to use education partners, data, research, and other skills that might be supportive in increasing education outcomes and closing the gap in education.
Head in hand. We all learn.
I read a lot at home, and my mom and dad help me study with my homework. It's either I want to be a teacher or a biologist worker when I grow up.
Skita and Levi make me read some books and also make me write letters to uncle and some other family members. And when I'm older, I also want to be a teacher and a bodybuilder.
Work before I play. I like my work. I read, and I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
When I grow up, I want to be a cupcake maker and own my own cupcake shop.
My parents show me for school reading and math, writing. And when I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
We are learning today for tomorrow.
Kindergarten to 7th grade. According to research, improvements in achievement result when Aboriginal learners in primary and secondary education integrate elements of students' identity, language, and culture into curriculum teaching and learning. Provide early intensive support for those students who are at risk of falling behind. Create productive partnerships with parents, caregivers, communities, and stakeholders that are focused on educational success. Retain high expectations of students to succeed in education as Stadtjugend. The barriers for kindergarten to 7th grade. Barriers that might impact the involvement of parent caregivers still exist for families. Some barriers are created by limited resources, while others originate from their own personal experience and failures within the education system themselves. Some of the barriers are based on the following experiences. Residential school survivors, the parents and or grandparents, did not complete high school, do not understand student works, low literacy skills, feel intimidated by educators, do not have the skills to communicate, shy or nervousness, not a social person, poverty, maintaining the strength of Stadtjugend culture. The most common barriers to family involvement include lack of teacher time. Teachers often see working on family involvement as a task added to an already long list of responsibilities. Lack of understanding of parent caregivers' communication styles. Some efforts at increasing involvement fail because there is such a mismatch in the communication styles of families and teachers, often due to cultural and language differences. Also, teachers' misrepresentations or misperceptions of parents' abilities. Some teachers believe parents and caregivers can't help their children because they have limited educational backgrounds themselves. However, many families support learning by talking with their children about school, monitoring homework, and making it clear that education is important. Limited family resources, lack of time, is one of the major reasons given by family members for why they don't get involved. Lack of transportation and childcare also keep families from participating. Parent caregivers' lack of comfort. Some parents and caregivers feel intimidated and unwelcome at school. Kindergarten to grade 7 strategic goals. Number 1, increase program of excellence and personalized learning. The objectives: engaging students by increasing their participation in and responsibility for their own learning. Supporting programs and services that address emotional and mental health. Ensure language and cultural programs continues. Collaborating through Aboriginal Enhancement Agreement in order to improve the learning opportunities and provide maximum educational benefits for all St'át'imc learners. Easing transitions and facilitating success for students moving from elementary education into high school. Number 2, increase parent and community connections. The objectives: ensuring an approachable, accessible, and welcoming school system within parents can take an active role in. Optimizing open communications with parents, regularly acquiring input from stakeholders, and continuing to engage internally and externally to build broader support for St'át'imc lifelong learners. Engaging parents into discussions and plans relating to personalized learning. Maintaining respectful relationships with school districts, community schools, and education partner groups, students, and the St'át'imc community. Number 3, increase leadership and organizational effectiveness. The objectives: ensuring that financial resources are allocated in ways that focus on children and learning. Ensure language and culture programming are sustained and provide ample support by leadership. Support leadership of teachers and employees while recognizing the increasing complexity of their professional roles. And lastly, ensuring that leadership retention and succession are priorities and that positions of leadership remain attractive to the best candidates that prioritize St'át'imc learners.